let's get the camera adjusted. And let's see. Yep, there we go. So the first thing you're going to notice is how nice and black that water has become. That's how you know you're in good standing here. Now you remember that piece of metal from yesterday. I don't know what the story is with this one, but we'll soon find out. So if you can see this one here, this is the one I put the one. If I can get my camera set straight. There we go. So I don't know what the story is with this one. Still got the gel on it. We'll play with that a little bit later. So the one that I really want you guys to see, this one right here. Check that out. Now you can see just how well that stuff works. So this is the way it used to look, and this is the way it looks now, like a brand new piece of metal, inside and out. So as I promised you, that's a good piece. Now let me get my towel. Actually, let me just use a piece of newspaper. Sorry, I'm getting used to the GoPro camera here. So now we're gonna wipe that off. Now you can see my needle nose pliers here. You can see the water lines. There we go. So now we're going to grab that rusty chain that was on the buggy from yesterday. Remember how rusty that thing was? You guys ain't going to believe this if I told you. But I'm trying to get that out of here. As I promised. Right there. Now you go and tell me that's not a good piece of chain right there. Not an ounce of rust on that at all. Yeah, I lost my link somewhere. It fell down inside the bucket. Okay. So, that chain is really nice. So now what we're going to do with that chain is we're going to take that and we're going to give it a quick clean in the water. Take that link out of there before I lose that thing. We'll set that right there. So there we go. Now you can see right here, that's grease. That's what grease looks like after you put it through with metal resting. So now we're going to take this newspaper and just going to wipe it. Look at it. I mean, how can you complain about a product that works so good? And check that out. We'll grab my This is just one B, just to loosen up that grease and the chemical. And then we'll drop it down in the water again. I mean, look how easy that is. So I'm going to flip that over. And that's all I do with it. Check that out. Now, if you want to get picky and you want to go a little bit further, how easy is that? I mean, look at that chain. You can't tell me that chain don't look near brand new. I mean, yeah, we got a little bit of browning here, but I bet you that's because it had grease or oil on it. But you can see right here, you see how nice and shiny that is? But like I just said in the beginning, you got any contaminants on here, prevents that metal rescue from getting in there. It's actually going to protect the chain from getting metal rescue. But I mean, what the hell, you know? Save you so much time. Now, if you wanted to, you could sit there and sing your living tail off, and or you could just take it and throw it in the bucket and be done. Come out the next day, and I mean, that was cold temperature last night too. Got down to probably about 27 degrees, and I just took a light scrub brush. You know, it's wire brush. I mean, it's pretty thick grade, but you seen I just rushed right on through it. And she's okay, guys, real quick. With this here, I did it wrong, as I suspected. It says here in the directions, it says approximately 1/8 layer of gel to rusted area. Jar contents will cover approximately 230 square foot inch of surface area. It says then wrap. You keep gel moist once applied. Cover gel with plastic wrap to prevent drying. So I would say saran wrap would probably be your ideal thing to use. It says remove and protect, rinse, and then wipe off gel completely. Result is bare metal. Use warm, clean water to rinse and dry thoroughly. If stubborn rust remains, repeat process. So that's where I went wrong. I let this dry. It's still sticky, but we're going to try to rinse it off and see what happens. Don't think we're going to have too much of a result because I did it wrong. So let's go ahead and give that a try real quick. There's nothing wrong with their product when a person does it wrong. Okay, so now we're going to dry the chain off. I'm just going to take a done cut myself. Okay, so we're going to wipe the chain off. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just water now. So we're going to wipe it off. But I mean, look at this. If this chain had any kind of rust, you would not be able to just easily do this with this chain. I mean, there's not one kinked spot in this chain. Nice and freely moving. Not like it was yesterday. So now what we're going to do. So I just retrieved the, the chain out of the bucket of used motor oil. So now I'm just going to give it a light wiping of it, just to get all the excess off of it, because I don't need it loaded. So what we're going to do is just wipe that off, get rid of this excess off the table, which I don't mind oil being on it. It'll just help protect the wood. So here, and my glasses, I don't want that in there. So if you ever want Thompson water seal at a cheap price, put some used motor oil on it. That's my little trick of the trade. Okay, so now what we're going to do, get my glasses out of the dang old way. So we're going to take this wire, shove it through here, and we're just going to hang it up somewhere. Let all the excess come off of it. And then we'll come back to it. Anything else that's left on it, it'll just fling off when we go riding. So we'll just hang that right there. Let that go. I'm going to wipe my hands off. And I'm going to look for my magnet so I can retrieve the rest of these parts out of this bucket. And I mean, look at that. Without even having to wire brush it, but I'm going to, just to show you how nice and easy that is. Look at that. That quick, that easy. If you had a wire wheel, you can just breeze right through it. Bzz, bzz, done. So how are you going to argue that? Between them two right there. I told you, that product is nothing to mess with. That's some serious stuff. So now you've seen it here. That's absolute proof this stuff works. So I'm going to pause the video, and we're going to get going on some more projects here. Okay, so now we're going to direct more of our attention back here on the buggy. This starter is having an issue for some unknown reason, and we're going to get to the source of it and figure out what's going on with it. So right now I'm taking these hex screws out. Normally Suzuki don't use hex screws, but it was all I had to be able to put in here to be able to make them work. So we'll get them out of there. So I figured to try to do things a little different using the GoPro camera. It'll be good for 16 gigs. Trying to grab much information that I can with it. Things that are going to take longer Then I'm going to pause the camera and then pick up where we left off at. Okay, so I'm going to get set up here and then I'll record again. See you in a bit. So, right here is where the problem was. These were seized up in there. So now I got them to where, without hesitation, they come right back out. So now, make sure your plastic is here. Make sure that rubber O-ring's there. Because if you do not have that, what's going to happen is that's going to ground out against this chassis and it's going to fry. So, make sure you got the square lined up to the square of this. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to line this up into that hole. Not on that one, we don't. We do it on this one. So we're going to push that up into there. Now, there's a certain way that it goes. You got to make sure that square is lined up to that. So I'm going to push that into there like that. Push that down in there like that. If it doesn't look like it's sitting in there right, just try it again. You will eventually get it. There it is. Okay, so this is how you want it to look. You want to get that to pop up a little bit more, that rubber washer. There we go. So now you're going to take the non-conductor washer and you're just going to put, well, I got a little piece of metal here from something. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, I wonder where that came from, because it wasn't on here before. There it goes. Like a piece of solder or something. Okay, so I'm going to put this one on. Then, actually, let's put this one on there. And then we'll screw this 10mm nut down on top of it. Make sure it stays nice and straight. Because if you don't, this thing shorts up against that. You're going to have to start all over, or you may have to buy a new starter. And it doesn't have to be gorilla tight. So once you get it snugged, give it a quarter turn. That's it. That's how you want it to look. So now she's in there. Now, a little trick of the treat. This came out of a different starter. So I want to see if this, yeah. Okay, so this will fit in here. So what you want to do is get your brushes up here and take it down the angle like this. Now you can see the two brushes there. Lean it forward and drop it in. Make sure these are not rubbing up against that diaphragm, that metal plate. So she's good. So then we're going to set that there. Need your rubber O-ring. And I think I made me a slight boo-boo. Trying to see which direction this cylinder goes in. Let me wipe this out real quick. I'll be able to tell by the markings. They should be quite consistent with one another. I'll know it as soon as I see it. Okay, so that's not the right way. So that's the right way. But I need to put my rubber washer. Or rubber O-ring. Helps keep the water out of it. Oh, gotta start over. Push it in there. Now we're good. Make sure that rubber O-ring is on the outer diameter of this. If it ain't, go back and try it again. There. And it just messed up again. Hang on it. It's because it's magnetized. Could just do it like this. It's hard to do with two hands sometimes, but there we go. I should say get it like that. Come on. There. Push it up just enough, the armature. Then it's like that. Then like that. Okay, so now we need to line our two marks up. There's that one. See how it lines right up? And then here's mine that I stuck in there, and here's the manufactured one. That's how I know I had it on the wrong side. So now this one here already has the washers in the right orientation. It's the right size, right length, right diameter. I changed this out because this was short-circuited, so I wanted to make sure it was good. Okay. So I'm going to put these into here. Do away with that. And nope, this one has it. That's why I didn't put it on there. That goes here on this side, so don't need it. So this one, it'll need this here. It'll need this one, and then this one. So we'll get that where it lines up there. Probably be easier to put this one to this side first. There. Should be able to get it. Put this rubber washer on here first. Sometimes putting a little bit of grease on that helps out some on the rubber O-ring. There. There we go. Okay, look for the original lines. There we go. There's this one, and this one. So this rubber O-ring is the reason why this got water in it. So we're going to try to prevent that. So now we're just going to take the screws. So that in there, make sure those washers line up to that. Screw that down. Screw that down. And we're going to do a quick test fire. And we already got a battery right here. So push that O-ring in there a little bit just to make sure she stays tight and sealed. Sometimes these can be a little bit of a booger. Trying to get that to go thread down in there. There it goes. The sinuses, so my allergy starts kicking in and makes me sniffle all the time. There we go. And again, no Gorilla tight. Just where it meets surface area, and then turn and test it. So now all we gotta do is put that on there. Let's find something we can use. Yeah, here we go. Should be able to do it this way. There we go. Now we have a fully functional starter. No more pull starting and recoil. No more of that junk. I'm tired of that ripping my shoulder. So hang tight. I'm going to put the starter in and we're going to give it a shot. Be right with you. So I got the battery hooked up, got it grounded, and we're going to go for it. If you ask me, I do believe we have a fully functioning starter. Yes, sir. So that's cool. So that means we can start possibly doing up some of the wiring today. I have to do the starter solenoid, run the hot wires, and then merge the hammerhead harness into the four-wheeler harness. That's going to take some time. The carburetor needs to be cleaned out, rebuilt, put back on. We're not too far from getting things going here. So hang tight. I'm going to get stuff together and then we're going to start doing some wiring. Well, congratulations to you that have made it this far in my channel. So, been doing some wiring, mapping out everything. So now we have a starter solenoid coming up to the battery. It's on by jumper cable for now. Don't have a four-wheeler battery to fit this, so this is just getting everything in line. So we rebuilt the starter, so now the starter works. So I got a second ground here. I got the main ground that comes over to the negative side of the battery. I have now got the starter solenoid wired into the hammerhead wire harness. I got the power fed into the hammerhead harness. There's nothing hooked over here on this side for the motor yet. So I want you guys to see something here. So when I turn the key on, you can see the gauge turns on. Alright, so we had an interruption of the video, so I know where we left off at. So it was the gauge, turn the key off, it turns everything off. So now everything is coming in the way it's supposed to. And well, so if you turn the key all the way to the right, it turns the lights on. That I may change. I don't like it that way. So I'm going to trace down the headlight wires, put it on its own separate switch, dedicated to its own deal, probably with the nightlight LED bar that I mounted up here. It'll be on a two-way switch. First click will turn the headlights on, second click will turn on the LED bar. So now, picking up where video left off at, we got handlebar switch. So nah, I don't think I should put it there. I'm going to take the wires off, and then I'm going to open this up, and that'll tell me which wire goes to which function. So if it's orange wire, you know, for say for the light, then I know to mark that for the headlight. And black, it could go to ground or accessory, start button, so on and so on. So we can eliminate this start button because now we don't need it. We have one that's already installed. So we won't need that part. So we also won't need the yellow with the green tracer because that's starter solenoid. We don't need yellow with a red stripe because that's also starter solenoid. Red we will need because it comes out of the magneto, the rectifier, and puts power back to the battery. That's that skinny wire, which is right here, that back feeds into the battery and keep surface charge on the battery. So does the black one coming from the rectifier. The three yellow wires, those are going to be your AC voltage coming in to the rectifier and then comes back out DC power and charges up the batteries, and it also can run power to the lights and accessories. The kill switch is actually over here, so we won't have to mess with anything with the four-wheeler to turn it on and off. We just need to take a ground and run it back to the hot side of the coil, and that will shut the the buggy off. When you press that in, it interrupts the spark. So we won't need the kill switch function because we had the key. So we're going to run these wires into here to shut off the red wire from being fed into the dash, and that'll interrupt the power. So there's still a little bit more mapping I'm going to have to do because I need to get access to the headlights, and that's going to run down into the dash through that harness, which I'm sure there's probably going to be two wires run us. I'm not sure if the Suzuki had one or two lights or no lights at all. I'm not sure. So I had to check out the schematics on that. But I see five wires that's left over from the buggy harness. And that just may be CDI box, if I got that correct. Because I don't see any other harness that comes back. So we're going to utilize those because they already ran through here. Actually, I see the brown, the green, that's headlights. So that brown wire should be a hot wire. So if I'm correct, that brown wire, if I connect it up to my LED light, turn the key on, all the way on, I should get some light. We'll try that here in a minute. There's a black wire, which I haven't traced yet. Just because it's black doesn't always mean it's ground. It could be an accessory, such as normally what's on the starter is a black wire. Not the red one that you see right now, but that's the only wire I have to be able to operate that starter. So that's the way I'm going to keep it, because I know for my reference, I know what it is. There's quite a few wires here from the four-wheeler, and I'm going to have to map it out. I see the black and yellow, that's usually coil. Black with white, that's usually your kill wire. I'm not sure Suzuki, the white with the black. I'm not sure. So we're going to continue looking. We got blue, a solid light blue wire, and we got a blue, a white tracer. No, it's black tracer. So I'm not sure what that's for. It looks almost like Suzuki has this black with white as the kill switch. And then we got down to 2 orange wires, 2 solid orange, a gray, and a solid red. So that red wire, I know what that black and white is. That black and white is the secondary ground that needs to be connected back up. That comes out of this voltage regulator, feeds over towards the battery, the small secondary ground wire, and the red wire goes to the hot side of the battery, so it's able to charge the battery. So those two right there go to the battery. Not sure. I think the light blue with red stripe and the light blue with black tracer, I think that's your neutral light. So when the bike's in neutral, and from that sensor, it will trigger a neutral light on the dashboard. So that's what that would be. The gray wire, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that would go to. Again, I can always map it out and I can figure it out. So that would not be a problem. And actually, let's see here. They painted over the wire. So it's white with blue. Okay, black with white is going to be the ground for the coil. And then the white with blue stripe is the hot side of the ignition coil. Okay, it's all starting to make sense to me. Shouldn't be too hard. And then got a hot wire coming out of the back of the plug here that's right next to the battery, so I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to place the battery at yet, because it used to be right there, and with that other engine it was really skinny, So it wasn't coming over this far. So it looks like I could build something right here, right next to the motor. So I could just build right up off of here and square and stick the battery in long ways this way. That's how I can do it. Right next to the shock and the motor. Not close enough to the motor it heats up the battery, but close enough to where it'll be stable. So I think that's what I could do there. So I'll just hand make a battery tray and that'll be fine there. Then it'll be right behind the driver's seat, braced up and out of the way. It wouldn't be a problem. So I can't see much of the CDI wires here, but all the wires seem to be in pretty good shape. There's a pink wire, and I think that goes to the rear tail lights. So yeah, I got this all pretty much figured out. It's going to take me a little time, but I think I can get it done. So I'm going to go ahead and stop talking. I'm going to get my hole started for the CDI box and the rectifier. Get those two boxes mounted. Then I know where I can zip tie other stuff at and get these wires together to where they'll just run right here together and make it nice and neat. It'll look like one harness when it's all said and done. We won't have this multi-function switch, but we'll still keep it. I'll cut enough off to where I can utilize these two plugs together and still have enough here to be able to put back to the four-wheeler, because I really don't want to trash that all together. Pretty much everything's coming together. It's almost there. It's just a little bit of love and I'll have it going. So I hope you guys enjoy.